Snow hit Liam's face like tiny knives as he climbed the frozen alien mountain. The wind was wild, fast, and angry, pushing him back with every step. He wrapped his jacket tighter, trying to protect himself from the cold. The sky above him was dark and full of thick clouds, and he could hear thunder rolling somewhere far away. It was the kind of storm that could swallow a man whole. But Liam kept walking, one slow step at a time. He was searching for ancient stones left by an old alien tribe. But the storm grew stronger and stronger. Ice cracked under his boots as he reached a narrow path. Suddenly, his radio made a strange sound, a weak, broken signal. Liam stopped and listened. For a moment, he thought it was only the storm, until he heard something else. A faint cry. It was soft, fragile, and full of fear. Liam turned his head quickly, looking around. The sound came again, this time a little clearer. It was a child's cry. His heart jumped. No child should be out here, not in a storm like this. He followed the sound, moving carefully along the slippery path. The snow was falling so fast he could barely see. Then lightning flashed across the sky, lighting up the mountains for a second. In that flash, he saw footprints in the snow. Small ones. And bigger ones. The small tracks looked weak, wobbly, almost like the child was falling with every step. Next to the tracks was something that scared him, a long drag mark, as if someone had been crawling through the snow. Too weak to walk, Liam felt a tight knot in his chest. Someone was in trouble. Someone needed help. He followed the tracks until they led to a dark cave opening. The wind screamed behind him, shaking the mountain walls. Liam stepped inside the cave, holding his small flashlight in front of him. The air inside was cold. But at least it wasn't shaking like the storm outside. Liam took a few quiet steps. The light revealed the rough stone walls, frozen ground, and small pieces of torn cloth. He lifted his radio again. It stayed silent. Then he heard breathing. Weak breathing. He pointed the flashlight forward and froze. Two glowing eyes stared back at him from the darkness. They were large, bright, and full of fear. Liam thought for a second it was an animal. But as he stepped closer, he saw the shape more clearly. It wasn't a monster. It was a woman, an alien woman. She was thin, shaking, and struggling to stay on her feet. Her skin was pale with patches of blue from the cold. She held a tiny alien child tight in her arms, shielding the little one from the wind that slipped into the cave. The child looked barely alive. When the mother saw Liam, she stepped back, frightened. Her voice was weak. "Please, don't hurt us." Liam immediately dropped to his knees to show he meant no harm. "I'm here to help," he said softly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The child hid behind the mother's thin arm, crying softly. The mother tried to stand strong, but her legs were shaking too much. Liam noticed a deep wound on her side, glowing a strange color. She was hurt. Badly, he slowly took out a small food pack from his bag and placed it on the ground. "You need this," he said gently. "Please take it." The child looked at the food with wide eyes. The mother stared at it for a moment, then reached out with trembling fingers. But before she could take a bite, her body suddenly weakened. Her eyes rolled back. She fell forward right into Liam's arms. He caught her before she hit the ground. She was freezing cold. The child gasped and rushed toward her. "Mom, Mom." The little one cried, shaking her arm. Liam held the mother carefully, placing his jacket around her. "She's alive," he whispered. "But we have to warm her up." Just then, a deep rumble shook the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. Snow shifted outside. Liam looked at the cave entrance, fear rising in his chest. The sound grew louder. More snow dropping. More shaking. The storm had pushed too much weight against the mountain. The avalanche was coming. Before Liam could move, The cave entrance collapsed behind him, sealing them inside with a wall of snow and rock. He was now trapped with a starving alien mother, a frightened child, and no clear way out. And outside, the mountain roared like a hungry beast. Asterisk snow dust filled the air as the cave entrance crashed shut behind them. Liam covered the alien mother and child with his arms as rocks and ice rolled across the ground. For a moment, everything was loud, deep thunder, falling stone, the sharp sound of ice breaking. But then, silence. A cold silence. Liam slowly opened his eyes. The entrance was gone, completely sealed. The wind, the light, the air, everything outside had disappeared behind a giant wall of snow and rock. They were trapped. The alien child clung to his mother, shaking. Is the storm gone?" The child whispered. Liam shook his head. "No, we're stuck inside. But we'll be okay. I promise." He wasn't sure of that promise, but the child needed comfort. The mother still lay in Liam's arms, barely breathing. Her skin was cold, her wound glowing faintly with a strange, sick light. Liam placed her gently against the cave wall and checked her pulse. It was weak to weak. He lit a small emergency heater from his pack. It gave off a soft orange glow, warming the air around them. The child moved closer to it, rubbing tiny hands together. "What is your name?" Liam asked softly. The child hesitated, then whispered, "Mira. It's a beautiful name," he said. "And your mother?" "She is Lyra," Mira replied, eyes filling with tears. "She saved me. She carried me when I couldn't walk anymore. She told me we would find help. But no one came." Liam's heart ached. This mother had fought the storm to keep her child alive. And now she was dying. He gave Myra a small piece of food and water. She took it with both hands, but kept staring at her mother. "Will she wake up?" Mira asked. Liam didn't have an answer. "I'll do everything I can." He checked the wound again. It wasn't like anything he knew. The edges of the injury pulsed with a strange blue glow, almost like it was alive. Something was spreading under her skin. Did she get hurt in the storm? Liam asked. Myra shook her head. No, she was hurt before. A beast attacked us in the forest. She fought it, but it cut her. She kept walking for days. She said she could handle the pain, but she became weak. Liam frowned. This wasn't a normal wound. Something poisonous was inside her. The cave grew darker as the small heater flickered. Liam tried his radio again. Base camp. Anyone? Do you read me? Static? Only static. He hit the side of the radio, but nothing changed. The avalanche had blocked all signals. They were completely cut off. Liam checked his supplies. 1 heater, limited water, some food packs, a small knife, rope. That was it. Not enough for 3 people to survive many days. He studied the cave again. The ceiling formed sharp stone teeth. The walls were rough but wide. Deep shadows stretched into the back of the cave. Maybe there was another exit, but he also remembered the rumble he heard before. They weren't alone. Something deeper inside the mountain had made that noise. Something big. Myra curled up next to her unconscious mother. Please don't leave us, she whispered. Liam knelt down. I won't. I just need to look around. Stay near the heater. He picked up his flashlight and walked carefully toward the darker part of the cave. The air was colder there, almost freezing. His breath turned into mist instantly. The cave floor sloped downward, leading into a narrow tunnel. Strange markings appeared on the wall, symbols, spirals, handprints, and carvings of creatures with long claws. Someone had lived here long ago. Or something still did. As Liam stepped deeper, he felt the ground shake slightly. A soft growl echoed from the shadows. He froze. It wasn't wind. It wasn't the mountain. It was alive. Liam backed away slowly, not wanting to make a sound. The growl faded, and the cave became silent again. He returned to Mira and her mother as quietly as he could. Mira looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes. "I heard something." "Was it the mountain?" Liam forced a calm smile. Just the cave settling. Nothing else. He didn't want to scare her. Not yet. He placed his jacket over Lyra again, hoping to give her more warmth. Her breathing was even weaker than before. The glowing wound had spread further across her skin. Time was running out. Liam understood something clearly now. If he didn't find another exit, and if he didn't find something to treat Lyra's wounds soon, the mother would die and the child would be alone. He looked back at the dark tunnel. The strange glow of Lyra's wound reflected faintly off the stone. The cave seemed to breathe around them, cold and alive. Liam tightened his gloves. He knew what he had to do next. He had to go deeper into the cave, even if something dangerous waited for him there. Liam sat close to Lyra, the alien mother, watching her chest rise and fall in slow, weak breaths. Her skin looked colder now, almost like thin ice. The strange blue glow around her wound pulsed gently, spreading in small lines under her skin like cracks on frozen glass. Myra held her mother's hand tightly, her small body shaking. "She's getting worse," Myra whispered. Liam nodded. Trying to hide the fear in his eyes, he looked at the blocked cave entrance, again nothing but a thick wall of snow and rock. There was no way out. The only hope was deeper inside the cave. He stood up, grabbed his flashlight, and took a slow breath. "I'm going to find medicine," he said. Myra's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes. I won't let your mother die. I promise." He didn't know if he could keep that promise, but he would try. The cave was dark and silent as Liam stepped deeper inside. The air felt colder, and the ground was uneven. His flashlight beam danced against the stone walls, showing strange drawing stall figures with long claws, circles of fire, and plants glowing like tiny stars. He moved slowly, remembering the soft growl he heard earlier. Whatever lived in the cave was still somewhere in the darkness. But Lyra didn't have much time. After a few minutes of walking, the tunnel widened into a large chamber. The ceiling stretched high above him, filled with hanging icicles that looked like blue glass. The floor was covered with small stones and patches of glowing moss. The moss caught Liam's attention. He stepped closer. The glow was bright, warm, almost alive. It reminded him of the glowing wound on Lyra's body. He touched the moss gently. It felt soft and warm even in the freezing cave. "This must be healing moss," he whispered. He had read once about alien plants used in medicine. Maybe this was the cure she needed. But before he could gather any, a deep sound rolled through the chamber. A growl. Liam froze. It was louder this time. Closer. The beam of his flashlight shook in his hand. Then he saw movement dot from behind a large rock. Something stepped into the dim light. A creature four-legged, tall as a horse, with thick white fur and long, sharp claws. Its eyes glowed yellow in the darkness. It sniffed the air, then growled again, looking straight at Liam. He slowly stepped back. "No sudden moves," he whispered to himself. But the creature lowered its head, muscles tightening. It was ready to attack. Liam grabbed the closest object, a long stick of wood. It wasn't much, but it was something. The creature jumped. Liam rolled aside, the claws slicing through the air where he had stood. Stones scattered as the beast landed heavily. He ran toward the glowing moss, grabbing as much as he could into his bag. The creature charged again. Liam dodged, but this time a claw grazed his arm, cutting through his sleeve. He hissed in pain, but didn't stop. He needed that moss. He needed to get back to Mira and her mother. Liam ran into a narrow passage at the side of the chamber. The creature tried to follow, but couldn't fit. It roared angrily, scratching the stone walls with its claws. Liam breathed hard, sweat running down his face despite the cold. That was too close. He walked further into the tunnel until the roar faded behind him. The tunnel sloped upward. Maybe this led somewhere. Maybe another exit existed. Then he heard something else dripping water. He followed the sound and found a small pool of clear liquid. The water shimmered with a soft blue light. He dipped his fingers into it. The water felt warm, not cold. When he lifted his hand, the drops glowed on his skin. Healing water. Another gift from the mountain. He filled a small container from his pack. Careful not to waste a drop, with the glowing moss and the healing water. He now had something, maybe not a cure, but a chance. He hurried back through the tunnels, avoiding the large chamber where the creature waited. When he finally reached the main cave, Mira jumped up. "You're back. Did you find something?" Liam knelt beside Lyra. "Yes, I found medicine." Myra watched with hope in her eyes as Liam slowly pressed the glowing moss around the wound. The blue cracks in her skin flickered, almost like they reacted to the moss. Then he gently poured a few drops of the healing water over the injury. Lyra's breathing changed. Still weak, but a little stronger, Myra held her mother's other hand. "It's working, isn't it?" Before Liam could answer, Lyra's body suddenly shook. Her back arched. Her eyes opened wide, then closed again, but her breathing stopped. Mira gasped. "Mom, Mom." Liam's heart froze. "Come on, don't do this now." He placed his ear near her chest. Nothing. Lyra lay completely still. But then, a soft glowing light spread slowly from her wound. Her body twitched again. Her fingers moved. A slow breath escaped her lips. She was alive, barely, but alive, Myra cried with relief. Liam wiped his forehead, exhausted. But his relief didn't last long. A loud roar echoed again from deep inside the cave. The beast had found their scent, and it was coming. The roar echoed through the stone. Walls like thunder rolling through a narrow valley. Liam's heart jumped. Mira froze, her small fingers gripping her mother's arm tightly. Lyra, still half unconscious, breathed in shallow, shaky breaths. The creature was coming. Closer, louder, angrier. Liam stood up, shaking off his fear. He checked Lyra again. Her pulse was still weak, but at least it was there. The glowing moss had slowed the spread of the poison, but her body was still fighting a battle she might not win. Myra looked at Liam with eyes full of fear. "Will it come here?" she whispered. Liam didn't lie. "Yes, it will find us." The cave trembled with another roar. Stones rattled across the floor. The creature's footsteps echoed like heavy blows on the ground. Liam needed a plan, and he needed it fast. He looked around the cave. The blocked entrance was impossible to dig through. The dark tunnel behind them led straight to danger. They had no weapons, only a small knife and a few metal tools, and then an idea came. A risky one, but the only one. He noticed a large crack in the ceiling above the cave entrance. The avalanche had weakened the stone. If the creature tried to enter, Liam might be able to knock down the unstable rock above and trap it, but he needed something strong enough to trigger the collapse. Liam grabbed his rope and tied one end to a heavy stone. Then he fastened the other end around a thin pillar of rock standing under the cracked ceiling. If he pulled the pillar hard enough at the right moment, maybe the ceiling would fall. Myra watched him with confusion. "What are you doing?" "Trying to protect us," he said. "But what if it doesn't work?" "Then we run. And we hope the cave has mercy on us." Another roar. This time, much closer. The sound bounced off the walls, vibrating in Liam's bones. Lyra stirred, her eyelids fluttering. Where is Mira?" she whispered weakly. "I'm here, Mom," Mira cried, holding her hand. Lyra tried to sit up, but collapsed again. "Don't leave her," she breathed. "I won't leave either of you," Liam promised. The creature's shadow appeared on the cave wall, huge, hunched, moving slowly. Its glowing yellow eyes shone in the darkness like twin moons. Its long claws scraped against the stone, leaving deep marks behind. Myra gasped and hid behind Liam. The beast sniffed the air. Following their scent, Liam held the rope tightly. His hands shook, but he forced himself to stay calm. "Come on, just a little closer." The creature stepped into the main chamber, growling deeply. It saw them. Saw Mira. Saw the weak mother on the ground. Its lips curled into a snarl. It lunged fast, too. Fast, Liam yanked the rope with all his strength. The pillar cracked, but didn't fall. Nitrogen monoxide. 9 monoxa, monaca. Ruby kiss, monaca, monoxa. Only monaca, only ruby kiss. Only monaca has 10 k's. Monaca had case head. NHS. Monaca, 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 monac. Monaca, 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 mamaka, mamak. My, you see. Myak, my monaca, my as. Con to be ekramebs. Pride it's unlike all lies it's un monaca. He pulled harder, muscles screaming. The pillar shook, then snapped. The ceiling groaned. A deep rumbling filled the cave. Mira screamed as rocks fell from above. A giant section of stone collapsed right on the creature, but the beast jumped back at the last second. The rocks crashed down, missing it by inches. Dust exploded everywhere. For a moment, Liam couldn't see anything. He coughed, waving dust away from his face. Then he heard it, a roar of pure rage. The creature was still alive. And now it was furious. It lunged again, this time cornering Liam, Mira, and Lyra against the far wall. The beast lowered its head to strike, but suddenly, a small cry cut through the chaos, a soft, weak sound. Lyra's breathing stopped again. Her chest didn't move. Her skin turned pale, most snow-white. "Mom," Mira cried, shaking her. "Mom, wake up." Liam's heart shattered. Not now. Not when they were this close to dying. He pressed his ear to Lyra's chest. No heartbeat, Myra sobbed loudly, clinging to her mother's arm. The creature growled again, feeling their weakness. Then something unexpected happened. The glowing moss on Lyra's wound began to shine brighter. The strange light spread across her body, growing stronger, pulsing faster. The creature stepped back. Confused by the glowing wave, Lyra's body jerked suddenly. Then she gasped for air. Loud and painful, but alive. Mira cried in relief and hugged her mother tightly. "Mom, you're back. You're back." But the creature wasn't finished. It roared again, louder than before. Shaking snow off the cave ceiling, Liam pushed Mira and Lyra behind him. He was the only one who could fight. He was the only one standing. He tightened his grip on the knife. He had survived storms, avalanches, and freezing nights. But now, he faced the deadliest moment of his life, and the creature was charging straight at him. The creature charged toward Liam with a roar so loud it shook the ice on the cave walls. Its claws were long, shining in the faint light, ready to tear through anything in its path. Mira screamed and hugged her mother tightly. Lyra was barely awake, her breaths still weak and shallow. Liam stood in front of them, holding only a small knife, nothing compared to the size and strength of the giant beast. But he did not step back. His legs shook, his heart hammered in his chest, but he refused to move. The creature lunged. Liam jumped aside just in time. The beast crashed into the stone wall, sending rocks falling. Liam rolled across the ground, gripping the knife tightly. The creature's roar echoed again, this time filled with rage. It turned its massive head toward him. Its glowing yellow eyes locked onto Liam like a hunter focusing on prey. "It's protecting something," Liam whispered to himself. "That's why it's so angry. This cave must be its territory." The creature sniffed the air, growling. It stomped its large paws on the ground, cracking the frozen floor. Liam needed a plan and fast. His flashlight beam flickered across the cave and landed on the fallen rocks from earlier. Among the stones was a sharp piece of broken stalactite log, pointed like a spear. Better than the knife, Liam sprinted toward it. The beast roared and chased him, claws scraping wildly across the stone. He reached the broken stalactite and grabbed it, twisting it free from the rubble. The creature was almost on him. Liam swung the sharp stone with all his strength, forcing the creature to jump back. The tip scraped against its fur but didn't cut deep. Still, it gave Liam a few seconds. He backed toward the far end of the cave, where another section of the ceiling looked weak, covered in cracks from the avalanche. The earlier collapse didn't bring this section down, but maybe now it would. Liam shouted at the beast. "Come on, this way." The creature roared in response and charged again. Liam ran under the cracked section of ceiling. The ground trembled from the weight of the beast chasing him. The ceiling shook. Ice dust rained down, but he needed something to break it completely. His eyes landed on a massive boulder, stuck between two pillars. If it rolled, it would hit the weakened ceiling. Liam ran to the boulder and pushed with all his strength. It didn't move. He tried a gun, arms burning, breath shaking. Still nothing. The beast was almost on him. He pushed one last time, using his shoulder like a battering ram. The boulder shifted, just a little. Then the creature leaped. Liam dove aside. The beast landed directly on the boulder. Crack! The stone pillars broke. The boulder rolled forward with a thunderous roar. It slammed into the weak ceiling. The entire cave shook as a huge section of stone came crashing down. The creature looked up too late. A mountain of rocks fell over it. The beast roared in pain and fury as the stones buried its massive body. Snow and dust filled the cave, making everything blur. Liam covered his head until the cave stopped shaking. Then silence. Deep silence. He slowly stood up, coughing. The creature lay under a pile of rocks, still breathing, but trapped. Its glowing eyes stared at Liam, no longer with rage, but with something like understanding. It wheezed weakly. Liam stepped closer, keeping his distance but not running. "You were only protecting your home," he whispered. The creature blinked once slowly, as if agreeing. Then its eyes closed. It was alive, but it could no longer move. Liam took a deep breath of relief. He returned to Mira and Lyra, who were trembling in fear. Myra looked at him with wide eyes. You fought it." Liam nodded and knelt beside her. "It's trapped now. We're safe." Mira hugged him tightly. "You saved us again." He gently held her shoulders. "Your mother saved you first. I'm only helping now." Lyra's eyes opened slightly. Her voice was low, but clear enough. "You risked your life. For us, you're not alone," Liam said softly. "I'm here to get both of you out of this mountain." Lyra tried to smile, but her strength faded again. Liam checked her wound. The glowing moss was still working, but she needed warmth and real treatment soon. He helped Myra sit closer to the heater and covered Lyra with every warm piece of cloth he had. Then Liam noticed something behind the rockfall. Where the creature was trapped, a small opening in the cave wall. A tunnel. The collapse had created a new path, a possible escape route. He turned to Mira. "There's a way out. I think we can escape now." Mira's eyes lit up with hope. "Really? Can we go?" Liam nodded. "We have to move fast. Your mother doesn't have much time." He lifted Lyra gently onto his back. She was light to light and her breathing was faint, but she wrapped her arms weakly around his shoulders. Mira grabbed Liam's jacket and walked beside him, with the creature defeated and a new tunnel ahead. Liam stepped into the narrow passage. He didn't know what challenges lay beyond. But he knew one thing: he would not stop until he brought them out alive. The new tunnel was narrow, cold, and full of shadows. Liam carried Lyra on his back, her arms weakly holding onto his shoulders. Mira walked close beside him, one hand gripping his sleeve tightly, afraid to let go even for a second. Every step echoed softly in the long passage. The sound of dripping water filled the air. The walls were covered in frozen crystals that sparkled faintly in the light of Liam's flashlight. It was beautiful, but also frightening. The ground was uneven, and Liam had to move carefully to avoid slipping with Lyra on his back. Her breathing was still shallow. Sometimes she went so still that Liam thought she had stopped breathing entirely, only for her to gasp weakly again. "We're getting out," he whispered to her. "Just hold on a little longer." Mira looked up at him. "She will live, right?" Liam didn't answer quickly. He looked ahead into the darkness. "I'll do everything I can." The tunnel soon narrowed even more until only one person could walk at a time. Sharp rocks poked out from the walls. Liam had to keep his head low while protecting Lyra from hitting the stone. A strong gust of wind suddenly blew from somewhere ahead, carrying a freezing chill. "That means there's an opening," Liam said. "Fresh air. We're close." Mira smiled weakly, hope returning to her eyes. But that hope vanished when the ground ahead cracked. Liam froze mid-step. A long line split across the ice beneath his feet. Then crack. The ice floor broke, dropping several chunks into darkness below. Liam jumped back, holding Lyra tightly. Mira screamed as she slipped on the breaking floor. Liam grabbed her wrist just in time and pulled her close. The hole below was deep, and cold wind rushed upward like a breath from the mountain's heart. "We can't go this way," Liam whispered. "Then, what do we do?" Mira asked. Liam studied the walls. On one side, he noticed a narrow ledge that wrapped around the hole. It was thin and dangerous, but it was the only path forward. "We follow the ledge," he said. "Stay close to me." "Don't look down." Mira nodded, though her legs trembled. Liam stepped onto the ledge first. The rock was icy, making his boots slip slightly. He held one arm against the wall for balance while keeping the other under Lyra's legs. Mira followed carefully, holding on to Liam's jacket. They moved slowly, inch by inch. Below them was only darkness, deep, endless, cold. Liam's heart pounded with every step. One mistake, one slip, and all three of them would fall. Halfway across, the wind grew stronger, pushing against them like an invisible hand. Mira cried softly, gripping Liam even tighter. "It's okay, Mira," Liam said calmly. "Just keep walking. You're doing great." At last, they reached the other side of the ledge and stepped onto solid ground again. Mira fell to her knees, breathing fast. Liam gently lowered Lyra to sit against the wall and checked her pulse again. "Still weak. Still fading. We need to hurry," he whispered. "She won't last much longer." The tunnel widened again and led upward. The cold wind grew stronger, and faint moonlight appeared ahead. "We're close, Mira. Very close." They reached the end of the tunnel and opening to the outside world. But instead of safety, Liam saw a dangerous problem: a cliff. A long, snowy cliff. The exit opened to the side of a mountain with a thin edge of rock and sharp drops on both sides. The storm had weakened, but strong winds still blew past, carrying snowflakes with it. Myra stepped closer. "Can we cross it?" Liam nodded slowly. "Yes, but very carefully." He tied one end of his rope around Lyra's body to secure her on his back. Then he wrapped the other end around Mira's waist. "If one of us slips," he said, "the others can pull them back." Mira held his hand tightly. "I trust you." Liam stepped out first onto the cliff edge. The wind tried to push him sideways, but he leaned against it. The cliff path was narrow, no wider than his boot. Snow crunched under each step. Lyra's faint breaths warmed the back of his neck. Myra followed behind, breathing fast but steady. Halfway across, the wind suddenly turned fierce. A violent gust hit them, almost knocking Liam off the cliff. He dropped to one knee and hugged the cliff wall. Myra screamed as she slipped, but the rope held her, and Liam pulled her back with all his strength. "Stay low." Liam shouted over the wind. They crawled the remaining distance on hands and knees. The storm roared, but they kept moving. For Lyra, finally, after a long, brutal struggle, they reached the other end of the cliff. Liam collapsed to his knees, exhausted. Mira hugged him from behind. "We made it. We made it." But as Liam stood up and looked ahead, his relief turned into shock. Bright lights lit up the snow in front of them. Figures stood in the distance stall, armored aliens with weapons raised. Dozens of them, surrounding the exit. Blocking the path forward, Mira gasped. Lyra opened her eyes weakly, and Liam realized these weren't rescuers. They didn't know who he was, and they definitely didn't trust humans. Asterik snow swirled around Liam as he stood frozen on the mountain path. Lyra on his back and Mira clinging to his sleeve. The bright lights ahead cut through the darkness like sharp blades. Tall alien soldiers in silver armor stepped forward, their weapons glowing bright blue. Their eyes locked onto Liam in cold distrust. One soldier pointed at him. "Human," he growled. "Do not move." Mira gasped and held Liam's arm tightly. No, they think you hurt us," she whispered. Liam slowly raised his free hand. "I'm not your enemy. He motioned to Lyra on his back, needs help. She's dying." The soldiers didn't lower their weapons. Their armor reflected the moonlight, their faces hidden behind dark visors. Snow crunched beneath their feet as they approached. Then Mira stepped in front of Liam with trembling legs. "Please," she cried. "He saved us. My mother and me, he saved both of us." The soldiers halted. Murmurs passed between them. One of them kneeled and scanned Lyra's body. His visor beeped softly. "She is gravely injured," he said. "Her life force is almost gone." Another soldier stepped forward. "But why is a human carrying her?" Liam felt frustration rise in his chest. "Because no one else was there," he said. "I found them starving in a cave. Your mother's wound. It was poisoned. She wouldn't have survived without the moss and water from inside." Silence. The wind whistled between the soldiers. Then the loud hum of engines filled the air. A large transport ship descended slowly from the sky, its lights shining across the cliff. Snow flew in circles as the ship landed. From inside, a tall figure emerged, elegant, strong, dressed in royal silver and violet armor. Her cloak flowed behind her like a river of stars. Her face was uncovered, showing glowing blue eyes filled with worry and pain. Mira gasped. "Aunt Solara." Liam didn't know what that meant, but the soldiers immediately dropped to one knee. This was someone important. Very important. Solara rushed forward and knelt beside Lyra. No, sister. What have you done to yourself?" Her voice trembled. Her hand hovered gently over Lyra's cheek. Mira jumped into her arms. Aunt, the storm, the beast. We were trapped. And Mom was hurt. The human saved us. Solara froze. Her glowing eyes turned to Liam. You carried my sister, she whispered. Yes, Liam said softly. I wasn't going to leave her to die. Solara stood slowly, lifting her chin. Her gaze grew sharp, not angry, but searching for truth. Do you know who she is, human? Liam shook his head. I only knew she was a mother trying to protect her child. Solara breathed deeply. She is not just a mother. She is Lyra of the high blood, royal blood. She paused. And her daughter, Mira, is heir to the Silver Crest clan. Liam's eyes widened. He had saved royalty, without knowing. Without hesitation, Solara lowered her weapon and stepped closer. Give her to me, she said. We will rush her to the healers. Liam carefully lifted Lyra from his back and into Solara's arms. Even in unconsciousness, Lyra's fingers twitched toward Mira. Solara nodded to her soldiers. Make room. The human comes with us. The soldiers exchanged looks of shock. But, my lady, I said, Solara repeated firmly. He comes with us. Kay obeyed instantly. The group boarded the transport ship. Inside, warm lights and soft energy hums filled the air. Alien healers hurried to Lyra, plying glowing medicines and advanced tools. Mira sat beside Liam, holding his hand tightly. Thank you, she whispered. If you didn't come, we would be gone. Liam smiled softly. You're very brave, Mira. Minutes later, the healers stopped moving. Lyra's chest rose slow but steady. Her eyes fluttered open. She saw Liam first. You didn't let go, she whispered. Never, he said. Myra hugged her tightly, crying with relief. Solara placed a gentle hand on Lyra's forehead. You are safe now, sister. Then she turned to Liam. Her voice echoed in the ship's chamber. Human, you saved the blood of our clan. You fought the guardian beast. You survived the mountain storm. You gave everything to protect my family. The soldiers gathered in a circle around him. Solara stepped forward. In the name of the Silver Crest royal line, she declared, I offer you our deepest honor. She lowered herself to one knee. A royal bow. Every soldier in the ship dropped to their knees as well. A sea of armor bowed before him. Liam stood speechless. He had never seen anything like this. Myra looked up at him with shining eyes. You're our hero, she whispered. Lyra slowly reached for his hand, her voice tired but full of warmth. You saved my child, and saved me. Our clan will never forget your kindness. Liam swallowed hard. He had climbed a mountain alone, but he left it with a family, who saw him as something far greater as the ship lifted into the sky, carrying them toward safety and a new beginning. Liam looked out over the frozen mountains below. The storm was gone. The danger was past. But the bond they had formed, that would last forever,